All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning to everybody around the world right now. Just figured I'd get in here and do this preview for UFC Mexico City because, from what it seems like, Mexico City is ongoing right now. And also, the other thing that we're going to talk about is the State of the Union address, right? With Elon Omar going at it with Trump, which, by the way, totally made the entire show. Now, look, prior to that State of the Union address, I had absolutely no idea that Elon Omar was going to do what she was going to do, right? And I tell you what, something in me said, you got to go and check out this State of the Union. Something is about to happen, and I don't know what it is or whatever it is. Something was bound to happen, okay? And the foregone conclusion was exactly is that. There it is, right there. Elon Omar going at it with Donald Trump, yelling at him while he was talking about ICE, while he was talking about the Somalians in Minnesota. And of course, it made it entertaining. Look, no matter what political side of the spectrum you're in, right? Whether you're a Democrat or whether you're a Republican, and by the way, I'm neutral in this particular setting, right? As neutral as I am with this particular setting, I think it's still entertaining, right? And that's probably the reason why it was entertaining for me, was because of the fact that I had no dog in this particular fight, and I think it made me kind of look at it from an objective point of view. Okay, number one, the way that I look at this, right? Number one, the way that I see it is that Donald Trump has caused a lot of people a lot of pain, whether you like to hear that or not. Now, the question is, did he cause all of this in terms of just him being the only person to have made these decisions in terms of having ICE in Minnesota or other parts of the United States? Was it part of his policy to do something like this, or maybe he was influenced by other people, or just a combination of both? Either way, these policies, whether you like to hear it or not, are very divisive, okay? They are very divisive. And again, I'm not taking a political side of, Republicans or Democrats, although I do understand there is a good need to have borders, well, not borders, but at least some sort of control of understanding who is in your country, right? Now, look, as a Muslim, I'm going to be very honest with you about this, right? As a Muslim, this is going to be a shock for a lot of you to hear, right? But we don't believe in borders or, or imaginary lines, right? For the sake of documentation, for the sake of having a passport, for the sake of, let's say, travel arrangements, okay, I understand these are things that are a way of life. And with that understanding, I understand that, okay, this is just how things operate. But as a Muslim, in terms of our spirituality, we don't believe in borders, because if you really think about it logically, Allah has made all of the land for everybody to be available, for everybody to walk in, and it just so happens that a certain sovereign state has, let's say, stake over, one land over the other, right? So therefore, they have to implement certain laws and certain structures, certain justice systems that they have to, employ at some sort, right? So this is just a way of life that I understand. But at the same time, you have to also understand, why is it that there's a lot of people that's coming into the United States, that's coming into Europe, and all these other places where people complain about, let's say, immigration problems? Well, it's quite simple. The reason being is because you need to understand there's a lot of wars that are going on in the world right now, right? A lot of wars. With these wars, it displaces people away from their original home, okay? For example, here in Sacramento, you will find that there are plenty of Afghans that live here. In the year 2011 and 12, from what I remember, there was a lot of Iraqis that were living over here. Okay, a lot of Syrians that were living over here after, let's say, 2013 and 14. Now, what exactly is that indicative of? Obviously, that is indicative of the fact that that there was a war going on in Syria, there was a war going on in Iraq, and as a result of that, it caused people to come here and having to migrate for economic reasons, having to migrate for the sake of trying to find a better life. So, in a way, could we really blame people for doing that? Right? IRAP says just ahead. I don't know what you mean by that, but okay. Anyways, shout out to you. He says, Ben Day says, watching from Iran. Wow, is that right? You know what? I had an Iranian listener here one time, right? I don't know if that's you or someone else, but yeah, if you are in Iran, man, shout outs to you. I think you would be of a big help to this channel if you give us some updates on what is going on, especially with all the things that is going on in the world right now with Donald Trump sort of, threatening, war with Iran. Obviously, Israel is part of that process, trying to, create some kind of, trying to create some kind of lobby to get the United States to go out there and fight Iran. Now, also, here's another thing about that, right? I think that is absolutely a bad idea to do that. And I'm going to tell you why. It is a bad idea to do that because you have to understand that Iran is a mountainous region. And now, how did that work out for the U.S. troops when they went to Afghanistan? Obviously not very good, right? There's a lot of people out there who are armed, just like in the United States. There's a lot of people out here who are heavily armed. Not only that, there's also a lot of people here. There's also a lot of people in Iran that are loyal to the IRGC, that are also loyal to the Ayatollah, that are loyal to just the land in and of itself. Even if they're not, let's say, loyal to the Ayatollah, they are patriotic towards Iran, and any foreign invaders, well, could cause a serious, massive insurgency, just like what happened in Iraq. Now, it's a little bit of a different insurgency, right? Because obviously Iraq had the type of insurgency that involved a lot of Sunni fighters from around the world, right? You had Chechens, you had Arabs from Saudi Arabia, from Yemen, you had people that were from Europe migrating over to Iraq to fight, the J word, right? I don't want the J word. You know what I'm talking about. For Muslims, you know what I'm talking about. And for maybe even armed forces members, you know what I'm talking about. The J word, Jihad. You know what I'm talking about. So it caused a lot of problems for U.S. troops that were deployed in that part of the world. And now you see the problems that are going on in this world right now. He says, oh, my social credit score, dial up. What do you mean by that? Oh, my social credit score. Explain what you mean by that. Man, you guys just say these one-word things on the chat with no context. And remember, there's more space for you to say what it is that you want to say on there. So, please feel free to use that, right? You can use that and explain what it is that you need to explain. Also, the other thing that we're going to talk about, obviously, cartel wars that are going on right now. Obviously, El Mencho, right? The guy that was the leader of the Jalisco cartel had been captured or killed. So let's take a look at and see inside the messy love nest where Mexican drug lord Mencho spent his final days. So Mexican forces say they tracked El Mencho to the cabin following his lover. Okay, so U.S. tourists stuck in Mexico beach town after drug lords killing sparks waves. So this absolutely, yes, this absolutely caused a serious mess in Mexico. And obviously, UFC Mexico is taking place this weekend, and it is still going on, by the way. There's no word saying that they're not going to move forward with it, so it seems that they are absolutely going to go forward with it. And yeah, let's take a look at what we had with Elon Omar and Donald Trump for a second here. Okay, so let's check this out.
here to the USA, and it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA, and it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and
So, yeah, UFC, just to answer your question, yeah, UFC Mexico is on February 28th, so that's taking place this Saturday. Dialip says, Iran needs a painter is why I made up the credit score joke. Oh, okay, all right. Casey Quinn, I don't know what you're trying to say here, but I'm removing what you're writing because it's just a bunch of gibberish, so please speak English around here, right? Mean what you say, right? If you have something to say, mean it, okay? He says the whole world needs an Austrian painter. Wow. You know what, man? Yeah, this is very controversial to say, right? It is very controversial to say, but I'm going to let you write on the comment section below why you say that the world needs the Austrian painter. Brett says, I agree. Hemback says, was he wrong? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Not at all. Not at all. The thing is, though, Hemback, I'm going to be honest with you, it's very difficult for me to, oh, okay, you're saying F Donald Trump J6. Okay, so you're anti-Trump, Casey Quinn is what you're saying. Okay, and Hemback says, was he wrong? Well, in terms of what's going on in the Middle East, no, he's not wrong. In terms of the certain power structure and the influence that is going on in the United States, he's not wrong. Not at all. Not wrong whatsoever. Hate Love says, Salam, brother Kyrie. Hello, everyone in general. Hello, my man. Hello. So, okay, we talked about the news. We talked about all of these things. Yes, we can continue to talk about the news, but we can also preview UFC Mexico that is going on this weekend. So let's check that out real quick. Let's see here. UFC Mexico that is happening this weekend. But Hemback, for the sake of conversation, I'd like you to tell me why you think he is right. Okay, I'd like you to tell me why you think he's right. I may agree with some of them. I may disagree with some of them. But I'd like to hear your thoughts as to why, because obviously we are a very engageful live chat here. We like to talk about politics as well as MMA. But not only that, we also like to give everybody their own version of the truth, okay? Because here's the thing, right? I think the one thing that is missing in today's content creation world, not just in MMA, but in politics, is primarily objective thinking, objective reasoning. That is one thing that is missing in today's world, right? So I'd like to hear why you think that. Hold on, I'm just writing the description that we have going on here to the show. All right, there we go. So we got a description going. Okay, so UFC Mexico. Let's take a look at the card that we got right here. Okay. All right. Okay, so as you know, originally, this particular card at UFC Mexico was supposed to be headlined by, what is that guy's name that was supposed to be in this card? It was originally supposed to be with, I forgot the guy's name, Alabayov or something. Yeah, Asu Alabayov. Okay, so but unfortunately he was taken out of this fight, and as a result, here we are, right? So we have Loner Kavanaugh as the replacement. Marlon Vera taking on David Martinez. Now, I don't know much about David Martinez or Loner Kavanaugh, right? Let's take a look at who these guys are. Okay, so Loner Kavanaugh, okay, Dana White's Contender Series in Season 8, 2024, in the opening fight of Season 8, Week 1. He faced an undefeated prospect, last name Ho. Okay, he won the fight via first round knockout and was awarded a contract. So there you go. You want to be awarded a contract. You go and get an impressive knockout, and that's how you do it in Dana White's Contender Series. He's coming off of a loss, though, second round knockout against Charles Johnson, but he is the only guy that was able to answer this call. So here he is, right? Undefeated so far, at least within that one fight. I think this is going to be a very easy fight for Brendan Moreno. Now, as you know, Brendan Moreno, okay, is a former world champion, has had multiple fights that went to 5 rounds, right? The Steve Erzeg fight, he went to 5 rounds with him, okay? Amir Alabazi, he went 5 rounds with him. Davison Figueroa has he's gone 5 rounds with Davison Figueroa, and also went 3 rounds with him. No, actually, he got a doctor stoppage, actually, in UFC 283. Hate Love says, Khabib, Islam said to me, send my sons to Dagestan for training 2 to 3 years and forget. Okay, so both of these guys are coming off of a loss, right? But I think this is going to be a fight for Brendan Moreno to win. Now, moving on to the co-main event, Marlon Chito Vera taking on David Martinez. Obviously, we don't know much about David Martinez. 27 years old, fights in the bantamweight division. 13-1, very impressive record, right? Has a win over Rob Font. Okay, I think there's a good chance that he might win this one, right? But let's take a look at where Marlon Chito Vera has been in his career so far. So Marlon Chito Vera, his last fight has been a 3-fight losing streak, okay? Ayman Zahabi, split decision. Davison Figueroa, unanimous decision. And Sean O'Malley, unanimous decision. And then his last win was against Pedro Munoz, a decision. Corey Sandhagen, decision. I could see this fight being a decision once again. Okay, but is it going to be on the side of Marlon Chito Vera? Believe it or not, even though Marlon Chito Vera has lost those fights before, it doesn't mean that he's going to lose this one against David Martinez, right? Because compared to David Martinez, he is the much more experienced fighter. But let's take a look at the age of Marlon Chito Vera. Right now, Marlon Chito Vera is 33 years old. Not bad at the bantamweight division, right? The weight cut could be a problem, but I think his experience is going to win this fight. He knows how to fight and win in terms of rounds and in terms of scoring points. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Same thing with Brendan Moreno. And also another thing with Brendan Moreno, right? He has experience training and living in Mexico, right? He's trained in Team Elevation before, so he knows how to fight at high elevation. Remember, this particular card, okay, is going to set and take place in high elevation. It's important to know that. It's going to be a highly elevated type of fight. And as a result of that, well, you got to ask who's going to have the advantage in this one. I think Brendan Moreno, on top of the fact that he has the advantage in the championship rounds department. So obviously this is a main event. This is a main event, so this is going to be 5 rounds. And as a result of that, Brendan Moreno is going to have the clear advantage on this one. So next fight moving forward, Daniel Zellhuber taking on Bobby Green. Okay, so far 3 losses. Okay, all by decision. Okay, I'm going to go with Daniel Huber on this one. Bobby Green, King Green, as he is now called, great fighter, but he's a 50-50 fighter. He's a journeyman fighter, okay? 33, 17 losses, all right? But he did get a split decision win in his last fight back in December. I'm going with Zellhuber on this one. I think Daniel Zellhuber finishes Bobby Green. Somewhere in the first or second round, he finishes him off. Edgar Shiraz taking on Felipe Bunes. Now, we don't know much about Felipe Bunes, okay? So he doesn't have a Wikipedia page. Let's take a look at who he is, okay? So obviously there's going to be a record of him right here in Tapology. Okay, 14-8, Felipe Bunes. So he has an ACA experience, right? That's the same organization that, what's his name? Almeida has signed to, has a UFC fight, 2 wins in the LFA, 2 losses in the UFC, 3 losses, so 1-3. Wow, okay. And he's coming off of a loss against Rafael Estevam. This looks like a fight where Edgar Shiraz is set up to win, right? Where is he coming off of? He's coming off of a win, rear naked choke by CJ Vergara. Has a decision loss against Joshua Van. So there you go. He knows how to fight against former champions, right? Current champion, really, right? Joshua Van. He went all rounds with Joshua Van. I think that experience is going to help him with this fight. I'm going with Edgar Shiraz by unanimous decision. Next fight coming up, right here. The next fight coming up, we have Emmanuel Rodriguez. Okay, 26 years old, currently undefeated. Okay, even in his mixed martial arts exhibition record, which was Team Cormier and Team Sonnen, the Ultimate Fighter. That was back in 2025. So coming off of nothing but finishes. Okay, so this guy is a pure finisher. Okay, so there's a good chance he's going to have a finish in this one. Now, who is this Kevin Borjas fighter that we have here, right? Let's look him up. Let's look up who this guy is right here and see where he has been in his whole entire career right here. So obviously I didn't do research on this guy. I'm doing this research live and in front of you right here. And very controversial name, okay? Kevin El Gallo, the N-word. I'm not going to say it, but anyways, yeah, 10-4, right? Obviously that's not much of a racial thing in their culture. Obviously that word just means black. But anyways, he has a loss coming off of Sumarij. Ronaldo Rodriguez has a decision win and is before that 2 losses. Okay, so he's also lost to Joshua Van by unanimous decision. It looks like this fight could probably end in a unanimous decision for the favor of, let's see, Emmanuel Rodriguez. I think he's going to win this. You know what? I think he's going to have a finish on this one. This guy has been finishing people. It's his UFC debut, if you remember. Okay, because if you look right here, this was a Dana White Contender Series fight that he had been in. First round knockouts, second round knockouts, all throughout his career, right? I don't see this going any other way. Maybe he reaches the second round, but more than likely he's going to be the one that's going to get a finish in this one. Santiago Luna, who is this? Okay, next fight coming up. MMA fighter Santiago Luna, the Border Boy. Wow, what a name. That's his name, Border Boy? Okay, 7-0, so he's undefeated. Okay, coming off of finish, submission, finish, rear naked choke. And then the opponent that he has, Angel Pacheco. Let's see what Angel Pacheco is, 7-3. Okay, so undefeated guy versus 7-3. Has 1 fight in the UFC, has lost. And that was so he lost in a Dana White Contender Series. Okay, gets a UFC fight, even though he lost against Lorhan. And now he's in here with Santiago. I'm going to go with Santiago Luna. And because this is high elevation, it's going to be hard to get a finish. I think they go all 3 rounds. And yeah, Santiago Luna wins this one by unanimous decision, in my humble opinion. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so now next fight coming up. Ryan Gandra. Who is that? Let's take a look at who that is right here. Ryan Gandra. Is this a middleweight fight? Let's make sure. Okay, so this is a middleweight fight. The same guy. Okay, so 8-1. We got 8-1 Ryan Gandra. No UFC fights yet. Has one win in the Dana White's Contender Series. Okay, has a win over Trent Miller in the Contender Series knockout. He's been knocking people out. Also has a triangle choke win. Has one loss against Leandro Gueno, which is a knockout loss. Okay, but at some point, everybody gets caught, right? So here he's got boxing experience, so he's probably going to have some good jabs and and a good range about him. Jose Medina, he says those names, those funny names. Why? Oh, yeah, because of the nickname, right? Yeah, Jose Medina. I mean, look, you got to understand they come from a completely different culture, so that's what it is. Jose Medina, 11-6, so he's got kind of a 50-50 record coming off of, wow, okay, he's on a losing streak here. A lot of these guys, to be honest with you, a lot of these guys don't even deserve to be in this card, right? Think about this, right? But I guess they just needed these guys because they needed a card to fill in. Loses in the Dana White's Contender Series, yet gets a contract to fight at Fight Night, gets another chance, gets TKO'd, and then gets subbed by Dusko Tuorov. This right here is a fight for Ryan Gandra to win. Now, how is Ryan Gandra going to win? I think he's going to finish him in the first round, probably by submission. I'm going to go with submission, first round, Ryan Gandra, and that's that right there. Okay, so next fight coming up. Women's bantamweight division, Ellen Perez is coming off of a 5 winning streak. Okay, and last before that, she lost by rear naked choke, and that was back in 2022. So hot winning streak right now, right? Ashley Evans Smith, Lucy, Jocelyn Edwards, right? Had a tremendous win recently. Daria and Carlos Rosa. Okay, so I might have to go with this one right here, right? Let's take a look at her opponent right here. Her opponent, Macy Chiasson. Okay, so I'm very familiar with Macy Chiasson. Macy Chiasson is coming off of a 2-fight losing streak. So 2-fight losing streak by unanimous decision, right? I'm going to probably go with Perez by unanimous decision. Okay, the winning streak that she has going on, I think that she has the rhythm in going into this fight, and I think that's ultimately what's going to happen is winning by decision. So I think she gets this one by decision. Okay, so bantamweight division, Christian Quenez. Let's take a look at Christian Quenez right here. Let's see who this fighter is. Okay, Christian Quenez. I believe this is a bantamweight fight. Yeah, this is a bantamweight fight. So the Problema Quenez. Okay, so 18-5 is Quenez, and has 1 win in the UFC, 2 losses. So he's on a losing streak. A lot of guys that are fighting in this card are on a losing streak, right? He says, yeah, that's a lot of L's. Connor Siller BJ says, yeah, dude, a lot of these guys that are in this card are coming off of a losing streak, taking on guys that are on winning streaks, right? So this guy, Quenez, is coming off of a rear naked choke against Ronnie Barcelos. And then before that, gets rear naked choke by Kang. What are his other losses, right? Rear naked choke. He got punched. Okay, so there's a good chance he gets rear naked choked on this one. Chris Montino. Let's take a look at Chris Montino. As you know, they brought this guy in to fight, what's his name? Sean O'Malley. As sort of like a little journeyman fight he has going on. No wins in the UFC, bro. There's a lot of these dudes that are winning, that are losing going into this fight. So he just lost to Malcolm Wellmaker. Obviously, Malcolm Wellmaker also had that loss in New York recently. But yeah, he got knocked out by Malcolm Wellmaker. So they sort of use this guy to sort of make these guys look good. I'm going to go with Christian Quenez on this one, right? 2 guys with 2 No. You know what? Maybe Chris Montino. I'm going to go with Chris Montino by decision on this one, okay? So moving on, we have Douglas Silva Deandra. By the way, my official prediction for that one is Chris Montino decision. So Douglas Andrade. Let's take a look at Javier Reyes, the opponent of his. So let's take a look at who that is right here. Doesn't have a Wikipedia page, but of course, if you fight, you will always have a Tapology page. So here we go. Okay, who is, what weight division is this guy? This is featherweight division. So we are looking for a featherweight. I believe it is this guy. Okay. So, okay, yeah, it is this guy right here. 12 and 22 and 5 is his record. Okay, so coming off of the Contender Series. So a lot of these guys that are coming in here are coming off of a Contender Series, and sometimes some of them are coming off of a Contender Series with a loss. Okay, so now he's taking on Douglas Silva de Andrade. Okay, so let's take a look at the record of his. So very even record between them, 29 and 6 versus 22 and 5. Okay, so very even record, good matchmaking on their part. Has fought in the PFC, is undefeated in that organization. The organization of PFC, where is PFC at? Where is this organization at? Right here. Okay, so PFC, I believe, is, what is PFC? Pitbull Fighting Championships. Okay, so he's undefeated at Pitbull Fighting Championships. He's coming off of a loss, and then he has a win over I think he wins this one by unanimous decision against Javier Reyes, right? Javier Reyes, obviously 22 and 5. He's coming off. No, you know what? I might have to go with, yeah, Javier Reyes by unanimous decision on this one. Okay, so next we got a whole bunch of no names that we got right here. Regina Taran. Let's take a look at who this is. Right here, Regina Taran. Okay, Kill Bill. Okay, so that's the name, Kill Bill. Undefeated. Okay, 7-0. 7-0 undefeated. Right here, this is who we're talking about right here. 7-0. UFC debut. Obviously, this is a UFC debut. She was going to have a Muay Thai fight a couple of days ago. Well, when is... Yeah, today. She was supposed to have a Muay Thai fight today. It got canceled because she needs to fight in the UFC today. And her opponent, Ernesta Karasite. So let's take a look at her opponent. Okay, very even record, right? 7-0 versus somebody who's 6-1-1 with 1 draw. And coming off of a win, split decision. Yeah, I think this one is going to a decision as well. Who is it going to go to a decision towards? Man, this is a tough one. I think this is an underrated 50-50 fight. Now, this person has had a lot of knockouts. You know what? I'm going to go with this one. This person right here has a high propensity for finishing, right? Muay Thai fighter on top of that, right? Sometimes I have a little bit of a bias towards Muay Thai fighters. But anyways, yeah. So I'm going to go with Regina by knockout on this one. Hate Love says it's really going to sting if these losers don't fight for their lives on this damn card. Correct. Because if you think about it, right, a lot of these guys are getting second chance opportunities, right? They're getting second chance opportunities when it comes to redemption, when it comes to getting another shot at the UFC. And yeah, they better show up, man. They better show up and show out, because obviously a lot of these guys don't even deserve to be here. But on the basis of just, for whatever reason, they, they decide to put them in there, maybe because they need to fill up a card, right? But that's probably indicative of the fact that, this is, the Paramount era, and they need to fill out these cards. So, okay, next fight coming up. We got Eric Silva taking on Francis Marshall. I might have to go with Francis Marshall on this one. Take a look at this guy's record right here. So he wins in a Dana White Contender Series, right? Gets a contract based on that win. Second and third chances, correct, Hate Love. That's exactly what it is. They're getting second and, third chances. So Muhammad Nayev, he loses due to leg injury. That's not good. TJ Brown, he gets submitted. Now, take a look at Francis Marshall that he's fighting, right? Francis Marshall, very familiar with this guy, by the way, right? This is at the featherweight division. Okay, so he's coming off of a loss, not a bad loss, obviously split decision, right? Dennis Bazooka, split decision. Santos, split decision, and then gets ground and pounded by Isaac Dolgarian. Now, what a shame, right? You got beat by the guy who, purposely lost because of, some illegal betting, right? That's who he lost to right here with Isaac Dolgarian. Man, though I think he seems like he's the better fighter. He might win this one right here by decision. So I'm gonna go with decision with that one. And then the first fight of the evening, we have Damian Pinas. Let's take a look at who Damian Pinas is, because obviously these guys don't have a Wikipedia profile, right? Not really that known yet to the MMA world. But let's take a look at Damian the Baba Yaga Pinas, 8-1. Okay. All right. So where is this guy fighting out of? Suriname. Okay, so Suriname is obviously a South American country right there, obviously indicative of the fact that they are fighting in that region. All right, so pretty good record, 8-1, coming off of a win in the Dana White's Contender Series, knockout. And now he gets his opportunity against Wes Schultz. Prior to that, he fought in Chuto, Brazil, has a few finishes in Chuto, Brazil. Okay, the only loss that he's had, realistically, you could say that he's undefeated. It was an illegal kick against Italo Gomez. But other than that, that was his only loss, kind of like with John Jones, when John Jones lost to Matt Hamill, right? Doing that 12-6 elbow that he was throwing at him, which they deemed illegal for whatever reason, right? I mean, they deemed it illegal because a few commissioners saw people in a karate tournament breaking bricks and breaking wood going down that way, and they thought, oh, wow, this is too dangerous to, this is way too dangerous of a move. So he's taking on Wes Schultz. Who is Wes Schultz? Okay, so very even record, 8-1 versus 8-2. Okay, so pretty even fight. This is Wes Schultz. His nickname is Party Time. Oh boy, you know, a name like that, you probably think, you know, this guy is, you know, the beacon of discipline of some sort, right? So he's got an LFA record of 4-1, has 1 win and 1 loss in the Dana White Contender Series. So he gets a submission win in the Dana White Contender Series, guillotine choke in his last fight at the MFL organization, has lost to Mansour Abdul Malik back in 2024. Okay, TKO. So he's had another chance at the Dana White's Contender Series, gets a big win, and then wins once again, right? So I'm gonna go with the undefeated guy, right? I think Damian Pinas wins this one by decision. I think by finish. I think he gets a finish on this one. All right, guys. So that right there is the whole full card of UFC Mexico, right? Now let's get to the fun stuff, okay? Because obviously we talked about UFC Mexico. Now let's talk about everything else that has nothing to do with UFC Mexico, or everything to do with UFC Mexico, but on any regard, here we are. Let's get this thing cracking, and let's get this thing started, shall we? So obviously the Ilhan Omar situation, man, that made the State of the Union address. By the way, if you guys want to check out the reaction that I did on the State of the Union, go check it out. Right, did some pretty decent views on that one, at least decent for the channel that we have here. But let's take a look at Ilhan Omar. Okay, says she has no regrets yelling at the president at the State of the Union address. One more time. Let's play this one more time and then show the clip of hers on CNN reacting.
Terrifying.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
And they're all yelling USA like they think they're at a wrestling show against like some, foreign villain that's coming in here to like, destroy Trump or whatever. Like they think they're at a WWE wrestling show, bro.
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our...
All right, so let's take a look at what she had to say on this particular matter right here. Let's take a look at what she had to say here.
Any regrets at all about the interaction we played between you and President Trump just last night?
I do not, and I think many people look at that moment when the president says it is our responsibility to protect Americans, and he does not acknowledge the fact that two Americans, two of my constituents, two of our neighbors were killed, and it was important for me to just remind the American people that the president and his administration was responsible for killing two American citizens.
Any regrets at all about the interaction we played between you?
All right, so there it is, right? That's what she had to say on this particular matter. Now let's move on to the cartel news that is going on right now, right? So inside the villa where El Mencho spent his final hours. Let's check this out right here.
A sleek, modern villa was where Nemesio Oseguera, leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, spent his final hours.
TG says, shut her up and put her in prison. You know what, TG? I saw something about Obama, potentially, going to prison or something like that, right? He said, post your child for fraud. You know what? Listen. I want to challenge you on this, right? Now, I want to preface this first and foremost, right? I'm not a fan of Ilhan Omar. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we can say that she did that was completely disgusting. I mean, marrying her brother, you can take that how you want. That could be just based on an opportunity of trying to get legal papers for that person, or perhaps maybe an aspect of ancestral relationship there, but although I doubt it, I think, it would be the non-latter that I had mentioned, right? Trying to create some sort of documents, but nonetheless, it's still, fraud to a certain degree. Also, Islamic practice-wise, I don't respect her as, let's say, a real Muslim or somebody. I mean, for goodness sakes, she's married to a white Jewish guy. She's married to a white Jewish guy who owns a winery, right? And left her husband or whoever that was for this white guy who's not even, a Muslim, right? I understand if he was a Muslim or, this, that, or the other, not even that, right? Not even a Muslim convert, not a Muslim at all. And neither is Ilhan Omar, to be quite honest with you. I think her wearing a hijab is nothing more than performative. But here's what I got to say about that. And Derry McClure talking about clown talk. Listen, my man, you're the clown in here. You decide to come in here and come to my chat talking about clown talk. Go somewhere else then. Otherwise you just want to come in here and, and talk your smack because you're an anonymous person. You don't have a profile. And here's the truth about you in your life that's going to hit really home. You don't have $5,000 in your bank account. You got your check engine lights on. You got your debt high up to the ceiling, and you probably have underlying health issues that you can't take care of because you can't afford health insurance. So boom, there you go. You're up out of here. You're an idiot. I won. You lost. That's how this conversation goes. Okay, now going back to TG, he said, how do you go from 5K to 30 million? Oh, just luck. Yeah, look, you're right about that, right? Obviously, all politicians that get into politics, they somehow obtain money out of nowhere, and that those could be for nefarious reasons or other reasons, but that's the name of the game. You go into politics, you make money, and then you get people to give you money and this and that and the other, right? So how about this? You got sent to the shadow realm. I'm smarter than you. Darius. I went to college, you didn't. You're a dumbass who probably can't pass college, who probably can't pass or pay attention to school, and that is the reason why you come in here with such rage, because you're a low IQ idiot, and then you just got sent to the shadow realm because you're a bum, you got no profile, you got low IQ, you got no savings account, and you're a bum, so there you go, boom, up out of here. You can't talk in a very intellectual matter that involves intellectual discourse or understanding that different people have different ideas and learning how to be emotionally intelligent about it. You can't do that. You're not capable of that. And therefore, you got sent to the shadow realm. Boom, you're up out of here. Anyways, back to TG, my man. So going back to what you said about the aspect of being the poster child for fraud. I agree with you. Okay, she is, you could say that, sure. You could say she is the poster child for fraud. But understand this, right? The U.S. government frauds you on a daily basis. The taxes that you have to pay on top of that, all of these, matters of, high costs of living. I mean, you just go down the list. Look, all of a sudden, these Somalis find a system and a way to outsmart everybody, and we're mad at them, when meanwhile, the government has been trying to outsmart us for years. Now, look, here's the thing. I don't encourage anybody to commit a crime, okay, whatsoever, right? In fact, I would ask you to refrain from it. Any crimes, that you think about doing, whether it's fraud or whether it's, white-collar crimes or any crimes of passion or crimes of, violence or anything like that, I completely discourage it, and this whole entire channel officially discourages all these things, right? With that said, I don't blame what the Somalis are doing. I just would not do it myself. They just found a system that is broken, and they decided to exploit it. Our system is broken in a way where there is a high cost of living, and if people are trying to find ways to maneuver around that, you can't really blame them. Vic says, does UFC treat fighters fairly? No. And the reason for that is because it is professional sports. They don't care about you. Take a look at how they treated Tom Aspinall, right? He got his eyes gouged out. Now they basically make him look like a bitch. They make him look like a punk. They make him look like a coward because of the fact that they want the show to move on. They want to have a definitive world champion, and pretty soon they're going to strip him and move on to the next guy. That's just the name of the game. Look at Conor McGregor. They no longer need pay-per-view fighters because their model right now is no longer pay-per-view, and he's going to be way too expensive. And guess what? As a result of that, they're going to release him and put him out of here. So by the way, if you're going to say stupid and off-the-wall comments, I'm not necessarily going to block you or get rid of you, but I am going to ignore you, or, one of my moderators, if they decide, because I gave them the power to do so, to get you up out of here. And if they decide to do that, then you're up out of here. Boom, you got sent to the shadow realm. Goodbye, boom, bang, ping. You're up out of here. Ain't a damn thing that you could do to me, so go ahead and sing whatever song you want to do. But whatever you want to move, you better believe that I'm going to come after you. So there it is. There's a little bit of some bars right there. At Vic, that's a really good question. Most people won't talk about fighter pay, but Kyrie is honest in his takes. Yeah, man. It is combat sports in a nutshell, right? Their entire prerogative is to lowball you, because ultimately what they want to do is make all that money from the shows, put it in their budget so that they can make even bigger shows in the future, and that is the formula of the UFC. Whereas in boxing, you have the Ali Act that protects the fighters, which is why a lot of boxers, a lot of boxing promoters and boxing promotions operate in a way of, let's say, a going out of sale business, right? They have one big extravagant event, and then they move on to the next one maybe 6 months down the road or a couple months down the road, but not on a consistent basis with the type of budget that the UFC, TKO, or WWE has. Okay, so with that said, let's go to the El Mencho story, because obviously Mexico is a big part of this particular live stream, and in particular because UFC Mexico is going on this weekend, and we had a drug lord that was just recently killed by Mexican forces, probably with the help of the United States. So let's take a look at the inside of his home as this raid was happening.
Reuters footage shows the home's messy kitchen, with cartons of milk, spoiled strawberries, unfinished pastry, and boxes of produce left on the floor. bottles of hygiene and skincare products.
I mean, really, they really wanted to just humiliate this guy by saying, hey, look at his messy ass house. Yeah, of course his house is messy because he got raided. So there you go.
Vitamins and empty boxes of luxury items were also found inside. There is also a small makeshift altar with Catholic figures including the Virgin of Guadalupe, Mexico's patroness, and St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes. The two-story villa sits inside the exclusive Tapalpa Country Club, a gated enclave of weekend homes in the hills of Jalisco. Authorities had been led there by a tip tied to Oseguera's lover. Burned-out cars and trucks sat on some of the roads encircling the compound after a siege-like raid by the military on Sunday. Oseguera, better known as El Mencho, tried to escape through the back garden to a wooded hillside but was hit by gunfire during the pursuit. Authorities said he died of his injuries while being airlifted away. Tapalpa has faced scrutiny before. 10 years ago, the U.S. Treasury Department imposed sanctions on several businesses in the area, alleging they were used to launder money for the Jalisco Cartel and its financial arm.
All right, so with that in mind, obviously, we got about a couple of minutes left on this live stream. I just wanted to preface a couple of things before I head out, right? I just wanted to come in here, do a live stream regarding UFC Mexico, give, my predictions on the whole entire card. I have a full card prediction on this one right here. Go check it out, rewind it from the very beginning. We also talked about the Omar situation with Donald Trump. Now we're talking about the Mexican cartel situation going on in El Mencho. So a couple of things that I learned about this guy, right? I learned that he got arrested in San Francisco, I think back in the 80s. So there is a mugshot of him in San Francisco, right? So, really interesting stuff. Also, I found out that he was a former cop. Not a surprise, obviously, if there was somebody that's going to run an entire drug operation like that with a sophisticated paramilitary group such as his cartel, why not let it be a cop or a former military guy? Now, if he was a former military guy, it would make sense, but a cop is a little bit different, right? I mean, I know a lot of homies in the gang world that, have a military background, right? But not necessarily become a cop, right? Because obviously it is antiquatedly contrasting of their ethos that they live as what you would call the honors amongst thieves in the criminal world, right? So, but being a cop, that's quite unique for his particular perspective. Now, here's what I got to say about that, right? What I got to say about that is what's interesting is that Donald Trump is going back to this aspect of, war on drugs, right? And here's the problem with it. I think that it's noble to go after these things. Obviously, as a Muslim, we're anti-drugs, obviously, right? That's part of the reasons why we have a conservative stance on certain things, right? We're anti-drugs. So therefore, realistically, we should support this in some kind of way, right? However, the way that he's going about it, he needs to also understand that the system that Mexico has going on with President Sheinbaum, she is reported to be affiliated with a cartel. Shout outs to Victory, shout outs to you, my man. Now, the reason why she is affiliated with a cartel, I need you guys to understand this world is indicative, this world is predicated on diplomacy. Everything is done with diplomacy. Let me give you an example, right? As you guys know, I was born in Libya. In Libya, there are police officers and military personnel that are for the Libyan government, okay, work with the Libyan government, in turn also work with the United States government and other Western entities, while also working with Al-Qaeda at the same time. Now, a lot of you in the Western world cannot fathom this idea. How is it that somebody that works in the Libyan forces, that works in the Egyptian forces, that works in the Saudi forces, also work with Al-Qaeda, considering that these countries that I had just mentioned are also allies with the United States? My boy, I'm here to tell you, this is the way of the world. This is the reality of the world. I see that in the streets all the time. There are guys who come from Blood and Crip sets that work with essays. There are essays that come from Vadios and Mexican gangs that work with Bloods and Crips, right? That is just the reality of the world. There are also cops that work with gang members, that work with drug dealers, that work with drug lords. This is the way of the world. Take a look at Denzel Washington in Training Day. This is the way of the world. This is how it is. And this is going to come as a shock to a lot of people, but that's the reality of what we have in this world. Now, where you have Shine Bomb, she knows that the cartel is a very powerful force. They also know that drugs is a big economic booster for Mexico. So what does she do as the president? She has to work with the cartel in order to keep her power, but she also has to work with the United States because she is a leader of her own sovereign country that is allies with the United States, or at least has some close relationships with the United States. So she has to mitigate these two factors, and then not to mention the fact that she's a shine bomb, right? Which means that it's not just the United States that she works for. It's not just Mexico that she serves. She also serves another master. And you know who that master is that I dare not mention, Kanye West. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. So that is how she has to operate. So this idea that a lot of people are shocked at the reality that she is working with drug cartels realistically should not surprise anybody, because this is the way of the world. And if you don't understand that this is the way of the world, I don't know what to tell you. You, my boy, are in, you are going to be in a shock because of that. So that's the reality of things. All right, guys. So listen, we're going to get to hour number 2 of this live stream. We're going to go into the bonus round where we talk about just, random stuff and, just a little bit of everything. And yeah, that's what it is. Respiratoryism says, wow. Wow, exactly to what, my man? Let me know what you are saying wow to. What are you surprised by? And by the way, welcome. Glad to see that you are here now.
I eat low carb, high protein meals
Okay, so Hate Love says, Kyrie, before you can go, can I ask you about Fresh? I know he is a troll, but what did he do to get sent? I didn't send him to the Shadow Realm. I think that Victory just assumed that, but no, I didn't send him to the Shadow Realm. You know what? Here's the thing, right? As crazy as some of the things that he says here in this chat, he actually knows how to kind of keep it within the what do you call it? Guidelines of YouTube. So Lou Christian says, on my way to Mexico. Good luck to you, my man. I hope you have a security team behind you, or maybe you're in the military, you know what I mean? So you probably do have your own security team if you're a military guy, and if that's the premise that you are going off of. But if you're going there as a civilian with no arms, with no group of people around you, I don't know what to tell you, man. I feel sorry for you. But if you're going down there as a military, then then you're gonna do what you're gonna do, and yeah, that's the name of the game. Respiratory says, this dude is a goat because he just lets people speak their mind as long as they don't disrespect him. W. Kyrie, that's right, man. I don't take too kindly to disrespect. There's no reason to disrespect me because I don't disrespect you. And if I really wanted to, I could go show up at your house and really disrespect you, show up with 20 people at your house, surrounding your whole entire house, and just, lighting you up in any way that I feel fit. So there it is, man. Dealing with a real, mob boss up in here, baby. No, I'm just kidding with that, FBI. I'm just joking. But anyways, yes, we're going to get to the bonus round right now. He says, Kyrie, the other day I saw on my screen the last admin message was Fresh was hidden. Kyrie, so it confused me. But okay, no worry. Yeah, I didn't have him hidden. Look, if I have somebody hidden or sent to the Shadow Realm, I'm definitely going to make it well known, or or be very clear with my intentions. But obviously that is not the case. So yeah, man, that's not the case at all. All right, guys, listen. Conor McGregor is banned from fighting at the White House, right? And this is now confirmed. This is now confirmed that he's not going to fight at the White House. His contract has expired. I made this video about 3 weeks ago. So will you have to unhide him? Yeah, I didn't even see or hide him, so I don't know how I could even undo that if I didn't do it at all. Maybe you guys did. Maybe Marty did. I don't know. But anyways, guys, we're going to get to the hour number 2. We're going to get to hour number 2. on the bonus round, and we're going to get it cracking right here, and I might take you guys on the road with me. So check out this video that I did 3 weeks ago regarding Conor McGregor, which, by the way, really predicted a lot of the things that is going on right now. Go check this out real quick before we head to Conor McGregor is going to have some serious contract issues with the UFC, and it's going to look very identical to that of the pandemic in 2020. You want to know why? Check this out. During the pandemic, he had an issue where they couldn't get him a fight. Why? Conor McGregor is blockbuster. Exactly. Precisely the point. So they need to get him in front of a crowd. How are you going to do that in the middle of 2020 when there was a world pandemic going on? So what happened? It stunted the growth of Conor McGregor's career. And that was the problem. That was the beginning of the downfall to Conor McGregor's career due to the unique positioning that Conor has with the UFC and the type of product that he is in comparison to everybody else in the roster. So it became complicated. You don't have a crowd. You can't maximize your use of Conor McGregor. What exactly does Conor McGregor bring? He brings in people from around the world, in particular in Dublin, Ireland, to fly to Las Vegas, book hotel rooms, which is big economy for the town of Las Vegas in a Conor McGregor fight week. And then on top of that, lucrative for the UFC, both in gate and pay-per-view sales alone. Pay-per-view sales alone. Okay? So that makes him a very unique product. Which means that if you were to put him and fight him in front of nobody during the pandemic, you would have essentially wasted your entire investment. So they're looking at Conor McGregor as not even a human being at all, right? They're looking at him as a product that they need to exploit to its maximum ROI, okay? Return of investments. Because they've invested a lot in Conor McGregor and they've gotten a lot of returns in Conor McGregor, and they want to continue to keep doing that and do that and do that over and over and over again. Okay, you want to continue to do that. So as a result, Conor McGregor is in a unique position once again in the new era of Paramount. And what exactly does that mean? Well, Paramount no longer requires pay-per-views. You see, all you need at this point right now is to pay, I don't know how much Paramount is, maybe $8 or $9 or something like that, but not a whole lot in comparison to last year where you were paying top pay-per-views $80, okay, $90 if you wanted in HD or in maximum, high quality, but now you're paying a whole lot less, $1,000 less that you are saving throughout the whole entire year just to sign with Paramount. What is in it for the UFC? Paramount wants to have a piece of the UFC's ass, okay? And the reason why they want that is because they know that having a juicy product like that will attract a diverse group of audience, right? What do you have in Paramount? To be quite honest with you, the only thing that I really watch in there is Mobland, okay? And that is with Tom Hardy and Pierce Bronson playing an Irish mob guy, which, by the way, is great, right? Just the great storylines that he has where he's interacting with these Mexican mafia cartel guys, and in the midst of that, they talk about stories where they were watching the Lennox Lewis-Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas, okay, talking about how they got it. All right, bonus round incoming. All right, guys, bonus round incoming. Here we go. Get in the car. All right, guys. So, welcome to the bonus round. What I like about I have to go out necessarily or just confined to the office or confined to the studio on any regard. Here creators that literally don't talk about what it is that they talk about in the title or in their thumbnail or in their headline. None of those subjects get talked about, right? It is like as if it was just a clickbait situation where they're talking about just random things that completely have nothing to do with the subject matter that they talk about. Well, guess what? This is what the bonus round is for, okay? Because obviously I dedicated the whole entire first hour into talking about X, Y, and Z, the subject of Omar and Donald Trump going at it at the State of the Union address, which, by the way, made that whole entire State of the Union entertaining. Most State of the Union events are kind of boring. They're kind of boring, especially if you're not a political student. If you're not a student in politics, it's going to be very difficult for you to enjoy it, right? Because you're bored at this particular subject. But the one thing we love as human beings is we love conflict, okay? And boy, did Omar and Donald Trump bring in the conflict, right? The best way that they know how. Obviously, Omar is a bit of an agitator, okay? And look, let's be honest about this. She believes what she believes in terms of her political leanings, and Donald Trump is the contrasting opposite of that. So we talked about that. We talked about the cartel situation, right? You want to know what got this guy caught? It was a woman, okay? And quite frankly, that's one of the biggest problems that a lot of you have in the Western world. And we're going to get really controversial on this one right here, okay? Because many of you in the Western world allow yourselves to be dictated by a woman, all right? And there's nothing manly about that, to be quite honest with you. You let a woman dictate everything that you got going on, right? She gets emotional. Next thing you know, you're going to react to it. You have to react to it. And the next thing you know, you're putting yourself in some precarious situation. That's the reality of it. He called us Somali pirates and her same sentence. He called Somali pirates and her in the same sentence. How do you say your name? Fiorgo? Okay, we'll just call you Fior. How about that? So Fior says, yeah, he called Somali pirates and her in the same sentence. And her in the same sentence. You got to fix your grammar, bro, because you make me sound like, a low IQ fool, with just the way that, I have to read your poor grammar. So, Luke Christian says, did Jordan to Turkey, Greece, South Africa, and many more? Did Jordan, yeah, again, fix your grammar. You want to have a decent conversation, fix your grammar. I can't answer your question with poor grammar because I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand what you mean. You guys have to take control and command the English language in a much more sophisticated matter, because I just can't read what you're saying, and quite honestly, your bad grammar, just really hurts my head, just reading it. So please fix your grammar, and we can, understand you better. He says, at Luke, what do you mean? I don't understand it. Exactly. I think the man is just excited to be here, which I understand, right? This is the most epic mixed martial arts channel in the history of mankind, and as a result of that, you're a little bit nervous, right? It's okay. Take a breather, right? Rewrite what you have to say, and maybe it will come out as a very decent and fair conversation that we need to hear. Luke Christian says, listen to the horns. I don't understand what you mean by that, or what context that you mean, but anyways, so yeah, man, look, a lot of you guys, look, here's another thing that I in the subject that I was talking about with women, right? So you guys know I live stream my workout sessions here in YouTube. I live stream them. You guys see the workout sessions that I do. They are nothing short of intense, right? Most people can't do what I do in the gym, and guess what? A lot of these other guys in the gym, you know what they do? They bring their girls with them. And quite honestly, you don't really get a lot done if you're bringing your girl with you, right? Because you're there just trying to match her energy. And most of the time, women don't even really work out that hard in the gym. They just go there to try and strut around, try to look good in front of everybody. And really, they're not really doing anything progressive when it comes to whatever fitness goals it is that they do. They're just there to, pose, and they're just there to look good, and this, that, and the other. Connor Siller BJ says, Luke doesn't realize he's in the presence of greatness. Thank you for that, my man. You know what, guys? I'm going to be honest with you, right? I love that I have such a loyal fan base, right? No matter if it's only like, 100 people, or, in this case, 1,000 people around the world, right? I really have a serious loyal fan base, and I'm so thankful for the loyalty that a lot of you show me here, right? And yeah, man, F you, go to hell with your stupid rainbow sticker over here. This idiot right here with a rainbow sticker trying to honk at me. Yeah, you want to get out the car, fool? Come on, let's go. Run that fade, fool. Anyways, yeah, man, get informative there on that one, but all right. He says, Luke, no horn devil worshiper. He says, no, Luke, horns are devil worship. Yeah. Is that what he means? Because I don't understand what he means by that. Yeah, look. I forgot what I was going to say now, but, it's a lot going on at the same time. But yeah, remind me what I was saying again. I think I was talking about how a lot of you guys bring women into the gym, and they don't really do anything to progress themselves. They don't really work out hard. They're just there to show off, right? But that is the problem that a lot of you males have, right? You do everything, for the woman. You have this idea of like happy life, happy wife type of thing, and you think that that's somehow going to, help you. But that's not the case. You know what I mean? You have to lead as a man and be stoic and understand that, when it comes to emotional stability, you are that beacon of light to your family household. And many of you just don't understand that. Connor Biller says, my wife's a blue belt. You know what, Connor? That's great. Look, I need you to understand something, right? Everyone is different, right? Everyone is not going to have the same foregone conclusion in terms of, being general about, a situation, right? But Tom Brady, okay, lost his wife to, to a BJJ instructor. And then guess what? Here's another thing, right? Back in 2011 to 2013, I trained with a guy who was a former airborne Rangers paratrooper, right? And he also fought in MMA. And, as he was fighting in MMA, yeah, I'm not going to sit around, and wait for that truck. I went and passed that truck. You know what I mean? Like, I got places to go, fool. You know what I mean? Yeah, so anyways, yeah, same thing that happened to him, right? His girl ended up with, the BJJ instructor, and then, it just absolutely distraught him. In fact, at one point, he was set to fight Fluffy Hernandez in the regional scenes. So, There it is. Isla says, keep your eyes on the road, brother. Yeah, look, thank you for the advice, but you're talking to a guy that's highly coordinated, that knows how to, knows how to drive while talking at the same time. Trust me, bro. This is Sacramento. I know this road like the back of my head. I could probably drive this road blind if I could. But thank you for your concern regardless. Hate Love says, yeah, women, SMH, go gym with Ronda Rousey 8. I dare you. He says, yeah, we train at the same gym, brother. Okay, well then that's good, right? Because at least, you know, you can kind of keep an eye on what's going on and this and that, you know, but I don't know, but everyone's different. Just saying, you know what, we all have, you know, different opinions and how we go on about things. That's just not what I would do, right? Unless, of course, if it's, you know, an all-women's training team. And quite frankly, here's the thing, right? I think that if you're a heavyweight fighter, you need to train with other heavyweights, okay? That's what Tom Aspinall did. You see, at one point, Tom Aspinall was only training with smaller guys. Now, what's great about that is eventually Tom Aspinall started gaining a lot of speed. He started gaining a lot of agility training with smaller guys. And as a result of training with smaller guys, guess what happened? He became faster, he became lighter on his feet, but eventually he needed to bring in heavyweights. So that's why he brought in Ante DeLegge, he brought in Mick Parkin, he brought in Phil DeFries, who by the way is a KSW champion, and a whole list of other heavyweights in the UK and in Europe that really helped him understand heavyweight fighting in a nutshell. Right, so you need to train with heavyweights. Brock Lesnar, he also brought in heavyweights during his prime years of being world champion in the UFC. You also need to bring in guys that are the same weight class as you. George St. Pierre has brought in 170-pound guys to train with him, right? That's what you got to do. Rory McDonald was a big training partner of his for a long time. A top 170 guy, obviously gave him some good rounds, and that was perfect for him. So if you're a woman and you're a female fighter or you're a female jiu-jitsu player, you need to train with other women, because training with men with the type of veracity, the type of speed, the type of intensity that a male is going to roll with, okay, I don't think it's going to help that particular female competitor. Rather, she should train with other female competitors that are at her level, so that when she competes at that same level, she knows what it feels like, right? And sometimes you can overtrain by training the wrong person, by training with the wrong person. Sometimes training with a heavyweight, if you are a bantamweight, just doesn't work, unless of course you're fresh melon juice who thinks that Pantoja can beat the likes of, you know, Tom Aspinall. Ali Khan says, I trained with Joshua Van in Houston. Oh, do you? Okay, that's awesome, man. He says, what topics are you debating? Not really debating any particular topic. I basically exhausted all the topics that I did in hour 1. If you're looking for topics, rewind from the very beginning of this live stream. We talked about the entire UFC card for this weekend. So I did a prediction for a full card for this weekend. Go check it out. Also, I talked about Ilhan Omar and her clash with Donald Trump at the State of the Union address. And then we also talked about El Mencho, the drug cartel leader that was recently killed by Mexican troops, which, by the way, I sort of suspect was also having U.S. involvement behind the scenes. Hate Love says, Ali, post it on your channel if you really do train. Hate Love says, train a woman with Strickland for a year and then get her to challenge Khamzat. Just saying. Yeah, right, man. Yeah, so listen, the Khamzat fight, I've been wanting this fight for Khamzat and Sean Strickland since 2019. Okay, so we're talking about since way before they were even in the UFC, or actually Sean was still in the UFC. He's been in the UFC for a while, actually. And yeah, Khamzat Chimaev, you know, recently just got into the UFC like 5 years ago. Okay, I think Sean Strickland is probably cutting in like his 10-year mark now in the UFC, right? But in 2019, there was a forest fire that happened in Brazil, right? And I posted about it, right? During that post, I had mentioned that the Saudis, this Saudi billionaire, offered fire equipment to these Brazilians that needed to fight this forest fire. And what did Sean Strickland do when he came to my page? He said, Muhammad loves the trees, but not the women. Right? You know what I mean? And then ever since then, I told Sean Strickland, man, I can't wait to get you to fight this Chechnyan dude that I know in Sweden, right, by Kamzat. And then lo and behold, here we are. They are now on the verge of fighting each other after training with each other. So there's a good storyline right there, right? The reason why I really want Kamzat to fight Sean Strickland is because it's going to exhibit the clash of civilization, the civilization of Islamic lifestyle versus the decadence of Western culture. Because Sean Strickland is the quintessential reality of Western culture today. All right? He's vile. He's, you know, a foul mouth, disrespectful, disgusting human being. Sean Strickland. And we're not talking about fighting skills here. We're just talking about people in general, right? He says, I remember Sean saying Kamzat dog walked him in sparring and training. Yup. And ever since then, he was upset because he knows that Kamzat has his number. And he knows that in order for him to get back into the title contention, that it is Kamzat that he needs to beat. Because he knew that he could beat Izzy. He knew that he had a chance to beat, well, I don't know if he knew that he had a chance to beat Izzy, but certainly after the fact, yeah, we know now, right? He knows he can beat everybody else. He can beat Anthony Hernandez, a guy who was on the verge of getting a title shot, just very close up until he got finished by Sean Strickland. He knows he can beat him, but Kamzat, my boy, is a completely different animal. Kamzat is a different animal from Hernandez. Kamzat is a different animal from Jack Hermanson. Kamzat is a different animal from Paulo Costa. He says he only beat Izzy because of Izzy's injury. Is that right? Is that really confirmed though? Hate Love. Did he really have an injury going into that fight? And if so, what kind of injury was he suffering from as a result of that? I'd like to know if you have you know, if you have any details on that, because I did not know that whatsoever, man. I had absolutely no idea that he had some underlying injuries going on at that time, and if he does, yeah, I'd like to know how and when and why. You know, that I would be very curious to, you know, to hear the reasons as to why he had an injury. So, yeah, wow, that's crazy stuff, man. Crazy, crazy stuff. So, now Izzy is taking on Joe Pfeiffer. What do you guys think about that fight? Let's talk about that fight for a second, right? Does Joe Pfeiffer have a chance of knocking out Izzy? You want to know my honest opinion? I don't think he does. I don't think he has a chance to knock out Izzy, although there is a reason why they gave Joe Pfeiffer Israel Adesanya, right? They are hoping that Izzy gets knocked out by Joe Pfeiffer. For the first time, they actually want the non-superstar here to win because they want him to win. They want Joe Pfeiffer to win. You want to know why? We need American stars in the UFC. That's another conversation that we need to have right now. Why do they want UFC stars? Because there's not a lot of top American fighters that are fighting right now. You want to know why? Our economy doesn't allow it. Let me emphasize that again. The economy of the United States is correlated to the reason why there isn't a lot of top American fighters. Considering the fact that the fighter pay is very low. And then Sean Strickland said it best, right? He said that the UFC is outsourcing fighters who are happy with making $10K per fight, because you got $10K after a loss in the UFC and you're in Brazil, you're living good for a couple of months, baby. Okay, you're affording rent, you're affording food, you can afford to take your friends out to dinner on top of feeding your family, right? It's a very lucrative deal for them, right? At least from a middle class perspective in the standard of their country. But in the United States, what you make as a UFC fighter is literally in destitute levels. Hate Love says, yeah, Izzy confirmed it was some leg injury and had been made public. He's never just admitted it before the fight, so that's on him. I think people really need to learn how to pull out on fights when they need to, right? Like, nobody is going to think you're a tougher guy going out there, you know, injured, right? It's better to just, look, you go out there and you lose while you're injured. That is how the rest of the world is always going to remember you, especially the Conor McGregor-Khabib fight. That fight right there, Conor McGregor's foot said he was, oh, my foot is a balloon, mate. You know, my foot is a balloon. And as a result of his foot being a balloon, okay, Toppin says, streaming while driving, that's so effing smart. Well, I hate to break it to you, man, but I have better coordination than, you know, the average human being. The majority of you are NPCs. The majority of you are not able to multitask multiple things at once, and really, you don't have the type of coordination that, let's say, an elite athlete has, or somebody that is, you know, coordinated or has experience doing these things. So therefore, you worry about that. Why don't you worry about yourself? How about that, right? You need to worry about yourself. You need to worry about your life, because remember this, it is you guys that don't have $5,000 in your bank account. You got your check engine lights on in your car. You got your bills piled up and your debt piled up, and then you got underlying health issues to which your insurance can't handle. So you need to worry about yourself before you worry about other people driving while streaming online. And that's really just what it is by the end of the day, man. Yeah, you didn't have to delete that comment, but you know what? Since you are the moderator and I picked you as a moderator, you are more than welcome to do what it is that you want to do because of how you see fit, right? I'm not going to judge what the moderators do, because here's the thing, right? When it comes to this, right, I'm the general. Well, not the general, actually. I'm the commander-in-chief, and you guys are the general. Okay? So it is you guys that are in the battlefield. It is you guys that's in the trenches. So it is you guys that has the right to call the shots, right? Because the worst thing that you want to do as a leader is call the shots in a micromanaged kind of way. So that's something that I do not do. I never did that as a leader of any kind. I never did that as a manager. I never did that as you know, as a vice president or a president of any company or anything like that. I never did that as any type of leadership position that I ever had in my whole entire life. I let the generals on the field do what they do and let the president does what he does best, which is talk and, yeah, you know, lead his people. So there it is, right? Yeah, Toppins with a laughing emoji. So far, you know, so far as I've been driving, it hasn't been any problem yet, right? So, you know, that's what it comes down to. It hasn't been a problem so far. So that's what it comes down to, and that's what it is. You worry about yourself, worry about your life, and worry about getting some money in your pocket. And by the way, I'm not even talking to you specifically, Toppins, right? Don't even get offended by it. I'm literally talking to the proverbial you. He says, as a mod, I look at their channel activity to see if they should be banned or let them stay. Huh, okay, that's interesting. All right, well, that is, then that is your assessment on that particular matter. Maybe you find some of these people dangerous. Maybe you find some of these people as, you know, rather, you know, a purposeful nuisance of some sort, right? Maybe their channel is just made as a way to go and troll people. That's what a lot of you do, right? I'm starting to suspect that some of you who are trolls are people that I probably know in real life, and you probably just don't have the guts to, you know, come and say it to my face. So what do? You go and you make, you know, this fake channel, this fake screen name on YouTube, so you can come in here and talk your smack, so you can feel better about yourself. Remember, you're a bum, you got nothing going on, and that is the reason why you come in here. And you know what? Here's what's funny about this, right? Before I ever got into YouTube, and before I ever got into content creation of any kind whatsoever, right? Because before I was doing YouTube MMA content, I was actually doing Facebook content before, you know, my channel got banned. I'll tell you why my channel got banned during that time, right? It got banned because I interviewed a lawyer who represented ISIS fighters in England by the name of Mohammed Akunji. So as you know, you would imagine how controversial that was, right? A lawyer who represented ISIS fighters on my channel, and yeah, that definitely got banned as a result of that. So walaikum salam. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, brother. Yes, walaikum salam to you as well. Slimin Plays. I think you are you're one of my Facebook friends, aren't you? Speaking of Facebook, isn't it funny? One of my Facebook friends comes in here as I'm talking about my posts, my pre content creation YouTube career where I did MMA content on YouTube. So yeah, let me know. Are you the Selim that I talked to on Facebook? Let me know if that's you, my man. True, yes. Okay, so that is you, man. Shout out to you, by the way. Listen, sorry for the little interaction that we had the other day. You know, I want you to know that I didn't I didn't understand your intention by it. You also got to understand, man, we come from two different cultures, right? We may be Muslim brothers, but we come from two different cultures. We're Muslim, but we come from two different cultures. I come from an American culture where everybody is very abrasive, everybody talks a certain way, and sometimes people try to be very careful of how, they come across as disrespectful. Whereas in the Arab world, sometimes they just really tell you how you feel, without any reservations behind it. And sometimes that can be mistaken as, being disrespectful or coming across as being rude. But that's not how you're coming across at all, obviously, because of, us having a conversation about it. We sort of, he says, don't even worry about it. For sure. So, brother, this is what I want you to do, okay? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I also want you to come and join my members only. Hit the join button. It's only $1, a month. I'm sure you can afford $1 a month, and also spread my channel to 10 people, okay? That's what I need you to do. I need you to spread my channel to 10 people and, get this thing cracking for me. So, he says, you are very smart, Aki. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that, my man. So, all right. What else is going on in the world right now that is interesting to talk about? So, obviously, Ramadan, this is like day 9, day 10. Man, Ramadan is going by fairly quickly, right? The days are just going by so quickly. Look, I think sometimes we are such in a rush to get to the next thing that we forget to live in the present moment, right? I saw this meme or this thing online the other day that said something about like millennial dads, right? It was a cartoon of a dad holding 2 of his children, and then in the one scene he grows old and has gray hair, right? In one scene he's like, typical brown hair, dark hair, right? Still young and vibrant, holding his children, right? And then his children grow up and they're no longer there. And they say, all this mess that they have around the house with their toys or this and that, one day you're going to miss it. Millennial dads, remember this, you're going to miss this. So enjoy this moment, right? And it hit me home when I saw that, because I thought, you know what? As human beings, we often do rush. We often do take a rush when it comes to our lives, right? We rush things. We rush our movement. We rush to get to the next thing, and we forget to live in the present moment. And as a result of that, we often look back and say, man, I wish we could go back in the days and relive that. I look at all the fun times that I had back in 2011, 2012 when I was fighting, right? And I said to myself, man, you know what? Those were some good times. Back then I was like, yeah, listen, what is the next thing? What is the next move? What is the next goal? That was my thing, and that was always what I was trying to get at with, with the next phase of my life. But little did I realize that I should have been living that life within that present moment of time, to which I never really took to enjoy it. He says, so I just wanted to say, using AI for generating pictures like the logo, bro, LOL. Thank you for everything. What do you mean by that? He says, so I just wanted to say, using AI for generating pictures like logo, bro, LOL. Are you, what are you talking about? You're saying that you're going to generate pictures? Please elaborate more on what you're saying so that I can have a better understanding to what you are trying to convey there. So, yeah, thank you for everything. He says, yeah, you're welcome, my man. And thank you for helping the channel and also giving me some decent advice behind the scenes. You know, I totally appreciate that. So yeah, guys, enjoy every moment, because you know what? There was one Ramadan back in 2011, right? I had a homie of mine that I spent Ramadan with, right? He's no longer with us, right? Just kind of give you a little bit of some disclosure what happened to this fella. Let's just say that he committed a crime and he had to leave the United States as a result of that, right? Let me just say that, okay? But anyways, when he was here, we spent a whole Ramadan together, right? Me and the crew. We spent that whole Ramadan. We prayed together. We had iftar together. We went to the same mosque together. And yeah, we did a lot of things together during Ramadan. And then Ramadan ended a couple of months later. We're able to drink coffee in the morning. We're able to, you know, drink and eat during the day. And you would think you would probably be a lot happier during that time, right? You're able to drink during the day. You're able to eat. And then he said to me, man, I miss Ramadan. But just like that, he, you know, he sort of, you know, just bypassed the present moment, right? He didn't think about the present moment. I remember a couple of times while he was forgetting the present moment, he was like, man, look, I don't want to go to prayer or this and that. And what was good about our crew was that we encourage each other to come and pray, right? Hey, listen, come with us, you know, pray, come to iftar, come to, you know, sahur, come to the prayers. We did all the prayers together. And then next thing you know, Ramadan was over and now we miss Ramadan. And, you know, that's just life, right? You know, you're in the moment, you're struggling in that moment. And little do a lot of people know and realize that during those struggles is actually when your prime. All right, what about now, guys? How's the signal right now? Let me know if the signal is working good right now, guys. Let me know, let me know. He says, I gotta go. Have a great day, bro. It is, okay, so it's good now. Slim, it's good now, right? Let me know if it's good right now, if you can see me or if you see what's going on here. I'm at the skate park right now. So yeah, this is a new skate park that they're building right here in West Sacramento in my town, right? So this is where you can bust off some rails right here. Oh man, looks rather dangerous. Looks like you could probably fall on this right here. And yeah, look at this. You know, some skateboard action that they're gonna have over here. This is going to be great. So a little skate park that they got over here. It's good. Okay, perfect. Hey, just curious, how long did they say this will, you know, this park will, you know, done by? Did they ever tell you? You don't know? Okay, you're just asking. Yeah, I'm vlogging for you know, doing a live stream, just, you know, kind of documenting the skate park here. All right, bro, you have a good Muslim community there? Yes, there's a good Muslim community in West Sacramento for sure. You know, so yeah, guys, check out this skate park that we got over here. He says, is everything okay? Oh, yeah. Just showing the skate park that we got going on over here that they're building in West Sacramento. This is a skate park that they have. Look at this right here. Check this out. Yeah, imagine going down this rail right here, right? Boom. Look at that. Beautiful. See, and they even have a say, do not skate yet. The skate park is not ready. Skating or walking the concrete will damage it. It's your park. Please do not skate. Wait. All right, well, there we go. Right here, and the hardworking men that are making this skate park possible right here. So, do you watch football or play something? I only do fighting, my man. You know, I only do fighting. I only watch fighting, and I only play fighting, and you really can't play fight, period. So, there we go. Skateboard park right here. And also, behind the skateboard park is just a regular park that they got going on here. So, they're building a park right here as well. Oh yes, I understand. I unfortunately don't have a skateboard. Hey, what part of the world are you from, by the way, Slim? Are you in Algeria or Morocco or something like that? Let me know. Yeah, so right next to that skate park, obviously they're going to have this park right here, just a regular park, okay? And then down that park right there, they're going to have a little soccer field right there, see? So they got this going on. Okay, gotcha, I'm out. Yep, they said I can't be here. Yeah, see? So they're going to have a basketball court right here. Obviously, they're planning on building this basketball court. They got trees right here. And then, yeah, the little construction buildings they have here. So, okay. All right, so. Okay, so you're from Algeria. Okay, got it. Do they have skateboarding in Algeria? I know that skateboarding is now sort of getting big in the Arab world, right? It's sort of you know, a little bit of a subculture they got going on there now. So yeah. All right. I'm going to show you the little soccer, not field, but the little soccer playground that they're going to build here right next to the skate park. So this is good, man. It's always good when they build parks like this. Obviously, it's going to promote health and fitness and for people to remain active. You know what I mean? That's always important. Obviously, skateboarding is a big part of it. And look, right down that field, they're also building something down that field as well. See? They're also building something down that field. Rarely people do it. Okay, we play soccer. Okay, great. Then you're going to love this. You're going to love, if you love soccer, you're going to love what I'm about to show you right here. So right here, this is the park, El-Kheer Park renovations, closed during construction. So March 2026. Okay, so this is going to be done by the summertime. So good. They should be done by the summertime. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Look, right here. This is something that I see in Europe, right? I don't normally see this much in the United States, but look at this, right? Yeah, if you guys definitely play soccer, then look, you'll love this. See, right there. A little soccer playground right here. Right there, see? You got the soccer playground right here. And then back there, I don't know what they're going to do back there. Maybe some kind of like track and field or another soccer field. But yeah, basically concrete soccer. Sort of like something that you see out of FIFA or something like that, you see? So, there we go. He says, yeah, my team is playing, even in Ramadan, bro, my team is playing right now. Who is your team? By the way, I'm a supporter of Manchester City. I'm a Manchester City supporter. So, who's your favorite team? Let me know. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much that. So I got about a couple of minutes left in here, maybe about under 10 minutes, and then we'll go. Just kind of put it on the 2-hour mark, right, and call it a day. What else? What else is there to talk about in the world of combat sports right now, right? What else is there going on in the world of combat sports? UFC 326. That's going to be a good one. I believe Joshua Van was supposed to take on Tatsura, but he got replaced by somebody else. I'm not sure who replaced them, but yeah, Slim, let me know who your favorite soccer team is, or what is your soccer team that you like? And just like that, put on my seatbelt. Oh, Algeria first, of course. Team is Real Madrid. Okay, so is Algeria playing right now, or Real Madrid? Which one of them is playing? I think they're going to have international games playing, obviously heading into the World Cup, right? I believe they're probably only going to have like international friendlies going on right now. I don't know if that really means anything, or if they count anything in the friendlies, but yeah, so who's playing? Is it Algeria or Real Madrid? Let me know. Let me know who's playing. Algeria or Real Madrid. Okay, he says Real Madrid played yesterday. So it's Algeria that is playing today, right? Yeah, what's going on with Manchester City, by the way? Even though I'm a Manchester City fan, I don't keep up with all the news that is going on surrounding soccer, although I just keep up with, let's say, the, what do you call it? I keep up with the scores, right? I keep up with the scores, maybe a few highlights here and there, but yeah, that's about it, really. He says, my friends, we play in Ramadan League. Oh, okay. So, a league that you have going on. Okay. And you guys are going to play while fasting, or after you break your iftar? Or you guys play like just, both? Like both after iftar or before iftar, I guess. Yeah, so let me know on that one. He says, I'm injured, that's why I couldn't play. Oh man, what happened with your injury? Hope everything is okay, with your injury, man. Hope everything is all right. What happened and what got you injured? Oh, before fasting. Okay, that's good. I think, you know what, man, I'm actually going to do a training session today. I might do a training session today and film it for you guys on a live stream. So I'm probably going to do, a live stream session of me training, during Ramadan. So, hopefully you guys enjoy that. Yeah. Okay, before and after. Okay, so you guys do a little bit of both. Okay. Yeah, is it tough? Do you find it tough to play while fasting, or you just don't think about it because you're sort of in that flow state? I kind of feel like I'm in a flow state while I'm training while fasting as well, right? You know, I don't really think about the pain or, you know, but what's worse about it is having to deal with it after the fact. I think that's what makes it worse, right? Because especially if you got like multiple hours, you know, before you can, you know, before you can break your fast, that's kind of what makes it hard, right? Is having to wait after the fact. Because, okay, so check this out. I'm going to go into the gym. It's 8:42 a.m. here in the West Coast of America, right? In California. I'm going to be training around 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. 12 to 1 p.m. That's the time I'm going to be training, right? And Maghrib doesn't start until 5:50. So after I'm done training, I'm going to be waiting for like 4 hours of insane levels of thirst. You see what I'm saying? He says, here we fast for 14 hours. Yeah, here in the West Coast, the fast is 12 hours, right? It goes from 5 to 5. And it's really interesting how different parts of the world have, you know, just different, you know, fasting hours. You know what I mean? So it's 14 hours on your side at one point. And in some years, it was 14 hours here or 16 hours, whereas in other parts of the world, it, you know, it's either 12 or 10, sometimes even 9 hours, right? Just, yeah, not a whole lot of sunlight, you know, in between that. But, yeah, man, 12 hours only, you know, from 5:50 to 5:50 p.m., 5:50 a.m. to 5:50 p.m. So not a bad schedule, man. All right, guys, listen. We got about a couple of minutes left. I want to thank everybody that has tapped into this live stream, and I kind of want to send off a bit of some outro on this one and make this live stream even more meaningful, right? I want to give you guys a little bit of some life advice, and it goes something like this. Never listen to the doubters, okay? Because there have been plenty of people that have told me to not do something, and I end up doing it, and it ended up becoming a success. One small example of that, the other day, I did the State of the Union reaction to Donald Trump's speech, right? And many people are going to say, yeah, don't mix mixed martial arts with politics. And I said, why not? That sounds ridiculous. Guess what? It did some pretty good numbers. I had about 1,000 people pull up in our center back. Slim says. So guys, never listen to what anyone tells you, right? Because they don't know what's good for you. Only you know what's good for you. So listen to your own heart, and sometimes listen to your own logic rather than listening to other people's logic. And with that in mind, guys, I want to thank you for everybody tapping in, everybody around the world that has supported this channel. I want to say that I'm very thankful to have the type of community that I have here of people that listen, of people that come in here and drop some comments and contribute to the conversation, and also contribute to the conversation by having conversations with other people while creating this online community of mixed martial arts and political enthusiasts. So it's a combination of political enthusiasts and mixed martial arts enthusiasts all rolled into one. So, you know, we have some real fun times with that and more fun times ahead. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, inshallah. Have a blessed iftar, bro. Inshallah. Not yet. Iftar is not till 5 p.m. here, and I'm still going to train somewhere in the afternoon. I may or may not post it or train, or I may or may not live stream it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll live stream it just for the sake of live streaming it, and yeah, just to show you what I do during Ramadan to train. So I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, inshallah.